Lads, welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Let's talk about Raheem Sterling, the dream. Now, when we signed Raheem Sterling in the summer, there's no question about it. Everyone agreed with me and with every pundit out there. Raheem Sterling was a panic buy. However, we had some upside to the Raheem Sterling deal, and we thought that because of the relationship he shares with the manager Mikel Arteta, they had worked together, he was comfortable with him, maybe he could bring out the best in him. And when Raheem Sterling was doing his interview with Arsenal, he said, "You are yet to see the best of me, and you're going to see the best of me at Arsenal. This is going to be an interesting journey." I can confirm that with a few games to go to the end of the season, Raheem Sterling has been a flop, the worst signing Arsenal have ever done, and I'm going to say this conclusively, that Raheem the Dream has been an atrocious addition to the squad. But the question is, why? And also I want to point to Arsenal's weakness in recruitment, especially over the last two summers. Now, Raheem Sterling was never ever a part of Arsenal's strategy. He was never one of the players that Arsenal had set out to sign in the summer as a backup winger. If you look at the options we had, Nico Williams was top priority. You had Ademola Lookman being looked at as well. We also had Bakayoko on that list. We had players like Kudus on that list, and so on and so forth. How we ended up with Raheem Sterling, I'll never know. How we ended up with Raheem Sterling, you and I cannot tell. But it's a point to reflect on. Arsenal failed that summer. When you think about other clubs, when you think about what clubs do, when you think about City, when you think about Liverpool, Cody Gakpo, Jeremy Doku, Omar Mamouche, Savinho, when you look at the quality these players go for, and when you look at how serious they are in the transfer market, Arsenal, just like Mikel Arteta has put it over and over again this season, we are falling behind and we are nowhere near the level of prowess in recruitment of these clubs. But perhaps what is very, very painful for an Arsenal fan, me and you, is panic buys. And Raheem Sterling is a typical example of a panic buy. And he's not the only panic buy, by the way. He's not the only panic buy. This team has had a rich history of panic buys, and none of Arsenal's panic buys has actually been a success. When Arsene Wenger went to the market and bought a couple of spoiled players after being hammered 8 goals by Manchester United, how many of those survived? Yussi Benayoun, Park Chu-young, Santos, and the others? The rest is history, but we know it didn't work out. When Arsenal went in for Denis Suarez in January as a panic buy, how did that end up? So I think we need to correct our culture around recruitment. I know Mikel Arteta has done well in terms of bringing the fans back, collaborating with the media and everything, and the brand that is Arsenal has actually been elevated from level 1 to another level. But I want to say this, and I want to say this really loud. We need to correct our culture as well around recruitment. So Raheem Sterling as a signing, I'm not going to blame him very much. This is on the club. This is the worst signing we have made in history. And not because of the performance only. It is under the circumstances that this becomes the worst signing. The circumstances that surround us signing Raheem Sterling make him the worst signing at Arsenal of all time. I know we have had players like Johan Joru. I know that we have had players like Lechesteiner Stefan. I know we have had players like Sebastian Squillaci and Sylvester. But this is why Raheem Sterling is the worst signing. One, Arsenal go into that market, into that summer, desperate for a forward addition. We talk about Chesko, we talk about Gyökeres, we talk about Osimhen, we talk about Bakayoko, we talk about a couple of players, and we are linked with a couple of players, including a mystery German player who was later revealed to be Leroy Sané. And when you look at those links, it's all right. It's all going to plan. Arsenal are looking for a serious forward to boost their attacking options. How we go from Gyökeres, Chesko, Bakayoko, Sané, Osimhen, blah blah, to Raheem Sterling is a joke. It's an absolute joke, and we need to be laughing at ourselves because we are becoming a laughing stock to the clubs out there. And the reason that's why everyone now says, Arsenal is just a bunch of jokers. They're not going to win the league. They don't want to win the league. They're just a bunch of jokers. Because everyone knew that last summer was the summer where Arsenal could have done the difference and could have made the difference. This Liverpool side, however much they are good, however much they are a well-oiled machine, they're just 7 bloody points above us. And I can tell you that Arsenal have dropped more than 14 points this season alone from winning positions. I'm not saying we shouldn't drop points, but from winning positions, Arsenal have dropped more than 14 points. So if you get half of that and top it up, Arsenal would be on the same level points as Liverpool. And one of our problems this campaign has been injuries. The other has been a lack of attacking options and a lack of depth in attack. So why Raheem Sterling is the worst signing of Arsenal's era, Premier League era, is because you needed quality and you needed it quickly and you need it urgently. And you went to the market and you stalled and stalled and stalled and stalled and waited and stalled and waited until there were no other good options apart from Raheem the Dream. Look at his performances. I mean, yes, the circumstances were really, really bad and we got it wrong. But you could say, Arsenal got Raheem Sterling and maybe, he wasn't the player they wanted, say like Trossard, but look at how he has worked out. Raheem Sterling this season is the one player that everyone can agree in unison that he has let us down every time he's put on the badge. Every time he has represented the badge, he has let Arsenal down. And I don't know whether this is a confidence problem. I don't know whether this is, like an age problem. Because what we know and what I can say is Mikel trusts Raheem Sterling. He loves Raheem Sterling. He believes in Raheem Sterling. They've worked together. He knows Raheem Sterling. So if you're working under a manager that trusts you, believes in you, understands you, knows you, and has worked with you before, what would happen if you had worked under a manager who is completely new to you? He can't cross, he can't take on players, he's not scoring goals, and he's not contributing to scoring goals by assisting. He's literally there to put on shirt number 30 and do nothing. Absolutely nothing. And for me, the only logic explanation for this is this. I don't think Arsenal ever signed Raheem Sterling as an option they believed in. And if we did believe in Raheem Sterling, sack that board, sack everyone there. This guy had really exhausted himself at City, given everything he could at City. Went to Chelsea, flopped, and then as Arsenal said, he flopped at Chelsea, we will turn him around. Bloody hell, you failed to turn Kai Havertz around. Stop it. We need to stop this business of believing that Mikel Arteta is going to resurrect every dead career. We've got to stop it. It is absolutely insane. So the one thing I want to say with Sterling is when you sign a player that has no value, and when you sign a player that has no impact, I'm sorry, that has got to be your worst signing ever. I will remember Vasil Kabu-Diabe. He was injury prone, but I remember him. Top talent, top class talent. I am going to forget Raheem the Dream as soon as he leaves Arsenal like this. I will remember Theo Walcott. I will remember because, when you look at all the other players that I'm talking about, they contributed so much. And yet, there was a time where we said they've got to go. But Raheem Sterling, I don't know. I don't know how we did this. I don't know why we did this. But it was atrocious business. It was a bad indicator to our opponents and the players that we want to recruit later in the future that, hey guys, we are not that serious. Like, you take us seriously. We are not that serious. Sorry to disappoint you. And we are not that serious, honestly. We are not that serious. The one thing I want to say, though, about Raheem Sterling is to spare a minute or two, and please watch this, to try to understand why. Why hasn't he worked out? He has been supported by Arteta, backed by the manager, a manager that he has worked with, a manager that he understands, and a manager that understands him. In a system that I think is very close to what he played in at Manchester City. So why? Why has it not worked out? This would be my explanations. I hope they're right. We know that there's a confidence gap there. He's missing penalties up and down. He plays like he doesn't care. But I think for Mikel Arteta, Raheem Sterling cares. I think Raheem Sterling has just lost belief in himself. And when a player or a person loses belief in themselves, there is pretty much not you can do. I think he's lost belief in himself. His time at Chelsea ripped his soul apart. And although I've labeled him the worst signing of Arsenal's history, and I believe so, I think as a man, he needs to find his purpose again. Otherwise, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Let me know your thoughts on Raheem Sterling.